This conference will now be recorded.
That's so it's out of sight, out of mind. Nonsense.
What's that? I should have walked. Save your space. No, me. I should have walked. There is a trail, Carla. There is a trail. I'm just. Yeah, that's true. Hi, Mitch. How are you? Which clock are we going off? The computer or the clock up there?
That's up to you.
Okay.
I'm already recording, so whenever.
Okay. Oh, that says, okay, we'll go off the one on the computer then. So 2 more minutes and we'll get started. So it's the clock. Just wait for the exact. Maybe don't use it. She's having that baby. There today. Because if she's having a long labor. All right, it is 6:15. Good evening. Thank you for attending the Town of Ennis regular commission meeting for the first meeting of 2026. With that, my name is Lisa Roberts. I am the incoming mayor, and I'm going to open the meeting. And I am going to do a roll call of the commission. John Way.
Here.
Nikki Hankins. Here. Welcome back. Mitch Abernathy. Here. Corey Hardy.
Here.
And I'm here as well. So let's please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we are going to start with the approval of the December 11th meeting minutes. Were there any questions or?
I move to approve the December 11th meeting minutes.
Second. Any discussion? No? Okay, call the vote.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting minutes. Now we are going to move on to department reports. First up is Executive Director of the Library, Karen Kachu.
Right, good evening, everyone. First thing, what I submitted this month was just an annual summary for last fiscal year. We don't analyze our stats till well into the fiscal year, so here's our summary. We are sitting pretty flat about last. Some things were up, some things were down, but nothing significant enough to mention. We're right at about 50,000 people per year in the doors. That's around 20 visits per open hour. This year our programming was slightly down. 8,700 people attended our programs, and we had over 37,000 checkouts of library materials. I guess, other significant, like to point on here is we have a great, this library in Ennis has a great return on investment. I did just a really conservative estimate at $20 per item. From the amounts we spend per item, we put out $745,000 and $700 into that people are saving by using the library. So that's pretty good. And compared to other libraries in the state, we're sitting at 1 and 2 per capita for use. So we feel pretty good. We're working pretty hard to maintain, especially our early literacy offerings. We've recently, I think I've mentioned, we split our story time into two sessions, because one is we have new pretty full preschool classes, and then another session for homeschool. Besides that, and if you have any questions about our annual stats, please just let me know. I can run these numbers any way you would like to see them. Didn't mean that the way it sounded. That's funny. I can present these numbers in whatever understandable format you would like. As far as the library, where's my cheat sheet here? We resumed our regular programming. We are already planning on our summer programs, our summer reading program. We have an adult winter programming. We did receive a grant from the Montana 250th Commission for some Montana history programming this winter. So we'll do at least one per month. Facilities, we're doing well. We had Tri-State come in and replace our last valve. We should be good for a while on that one. Department of Labor came in and gave us our inspection, doing fine. And today I gave a little talk to the Women's Club on the history of the library. It's a rabbit hole in itself, but it was really fun to go back and look at the history of the building. Next week, I'll be visiting with our state library consultant just to see how we can improve workflows, see that we're getting as much as we can from all the educational offerings that the state has. And I'm also applying for some smaller collection grants. some diving into some winter projects, one of which is we've had a lot of fly fishing, vintage fly fishing book donations. So I'll be adding that to our Montana list. That's pretty fun to go into. Do you have any questions for me?
Winter hours.
Winter hours are Monday 9 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday 9 to 6, Thursday, Friday 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 2. Anything else, guys? All right, thank you all.
Want to mention, and sorry for the interruption, is my first patient with me. A couple of things that I did just want to mention as far as points of order, and just a reminder for all of us. During public comment on non-agenda items, the commission is not allowed to respond to comments. We can just take those comments in. So if it's something that they're ignoring you or trying to ignore your questions or state law that just take those comments in. Another thing is what we're moving through the agenda. I just ask that you move to the podium with the mic and wait to be recognized by the chair. So do have our book, aptly named Robert's Rules of Order. We'll try our best to follow those. So with that being said, Public Works. Eric, are you online?
I'm here. How's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
All right, just to say something real quick, the mic that you were just talking on is really bad online. So,
Is that better?
oh, that's way better.
Okay, I'll just get closer. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So other than my report, I mean, I got a few things. An exciting thing we can mark off our PERS list. We were able to find a really cheap generator for Comley Wellhouse if power's ever lost through the federal service surplus property. It's really got 28 hours on it. It's an old military generator, but it works really well. So I'm pretty happy to have that around. We're mid battle with the valve that's encased in concrete out at the lagoon. Ed's been chipping on that for 2 days. Thanks to him for that. I had something else, but I can't remember. But other than that, you got my report, and we're staying busy.
Any questions for Eric?
You have in your report that the DQ reported no deficiencies.
That's what it was. Thanks. Yeah, we get a yearly inspection on our water system, and an inspector comes up, and I have to take him to all the well houses, the tank, and all that. And he did not find any deficiencies. Pretty excited about that. They always seem to find something, but that was pretty cool. Guys have been keeping that stuff really clean, and it worked. It's looking good.
Well, thanks to you and your staff for keeping things going, keeping things moving. That's
yeah, I'm actually
really important.
That inspection, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, kudos to you and your staff for that. That's great. Any other questions for Eric? All right. Thanks, Eric. We appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on to the zoning. Clerk, Susie.
This one is my dad. So my report is in your packet. I did turn it in there late. I apologize for that.
only question is, do you have a compliance portion that you kind of track? Because I know that's a substantial part of your job too.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good.
And on some pages, it's just a citation.
Thank you for your diligence. I know court's been busy. So, right. Thank you very much, Susie. Did anybody have any questions for Susie? No. Okay. Thank you, Susie. Okay. Clerk's report from Deputy Clerk Brenna Bench. Did anyone have questions right off the bat? I will say it's been going head first and just trying to get everything down. So my days are going by really, really quick because we got a lot to do. But I'm excited to continue and do what I can for the town and be able to help any way I can. So one of the big parts is that our longtime clerk Ginger Quinn resigned. We wish her all the best, and so Brenna and I have been. Our motto has been, "We'll figure it out." So it's been very solid this first days of the year, all sorts of skills. Yeah, figuring out. So great. So
Put online that hours at town were gonna be disrupted going forward. Do you foresee that for the next couple of weeks, or was it just?
Next couple of weeks, mostly for the whole month of January for the most part. We are going to try our hardest to always update those hours on Facebook every week, so I'll review those. And then we do want to try to get a actual Google, when you look up any other business and they say they're open, we're going to try to do that as well so that it's in multiple places. I will also always have it posted on the door. And if I ever leave for lunch, because I am the only one up there, I'll be putting back the exact time I'll be coming back so people are fully aware. That's always really good.
Have any items on your educational wish list?
Ooh, definitely want to get into more just clerk in general education and just getting deep into that. And I know that that's already been talked about, so I'm excited to go into that. But nothing's very specific as of right now. But that and then grants. I know we always have so many grants that are really, really important for the town. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can for them and getting them in time and not having it so it's so rushed. I know that's always been like a big stressful thing, so I want to be able to do that. Questions for Brenna? Thank you.
all right. This next group is represented very well. Sheriff Duncan Hedges is here to represent the Madison County Sheriff's Office at your court. Thank you for coming this evening.
Um, of course, I didn't bring it forward. December, we had a seven physical arrests this last month, 4 DUIs, warrant, suspended driver, assault.
I know we met the other day and we talked about some, maybe some collaborations that we can do to maybe encourage a traffic study or something like that. Just they clock somebody at 70 miles an hour at a hospital. So they're going pretty quick. So unfortunately, the design that went there is pretty bad. And you probably see it. You're right there. So maybe there's some collaboration that we can do with MBT, not so much carrier services because it's not big trucks. A lot of cars from Idaho go really fast right through there. But I think we've got a good collaborative relationship, and if there's things that you want us to work on, I think we're both willing parties to do so. You have kudos too. They take those as well.
How are things going with the other incorporated municipalities?
We're still in contract. Well, we got two people that are possibly affected. So both of us are officers.
our size and population. The right options.
Very much. Our next item is claims. Is there any questions from the commission? Okay, I will do my best to answer. A lot of these occurred, but I think a lot of our department heads are here as well, so maybe they can field those questions too. I do not know. Do you have the receipts?
Since I don't know the specifics, I do remember that though the shower casing would have been under Public Works. So Eric may be able to attest to that one, like specifically what it is. And I think the same as well with the hall casing.
I can help out, but I can't hear. I don't even know what's going on.
So Mitch, our Commissioner Abernathy, was asking, she had a few questions on the claims, one being a shower liner, a wallet case, and then also a bag or bags of ice. So just
Yep.
wondering if there was an event or something like that that we needed to be
Nope.
aware of.
I got you. The shower liner, believe it or not, we lined the inside of the snow, the sander, because it's so rusted that the sand sticks to it. So we lined it with something real slick. It was a shower liner. I was trying it out because we end up just digging more out because it sticks so bad. And the the other thing was a phone case that holds my work phone and my work credit card and the work gas card all in one. And what was the last thing?
Ice, just some ice.
Oh, yes. So our ice machine broke here up at town hall, and I just haven't got around to ordering another one. And when I send samples up, they have to be on ice when they send up. So I've been having to buy, if you look back the last few months, I buy 4 bags a month.
Okay.
And then the last one was the Facebook charge for $2.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And I forgot to talk to Brenna about that because I have no idea. I don't even know how to Facebook. One, I don't know what that is. I honestly don't have no clue. I'm glad you said something because I forgot all about that.
Do a little
That's what
research
that
for you.
$2 thing was, right, Brenna? My fault. Okay.
Let's see. Myron, did you have a question
Well,
or a comment?
I'm familiar with distilled water because they use CPAP. So there's a distilled water 1 gallon, $5.25.
Yeah.
Now that must have been
That's
coming in a gold container or something.
Yeah.
so.
Because then there's a Family Dollar the same day for miscellaneous, $1.75, and that's what you pay for distilled water. But
Myron, both of those were from Family Dollar. One time I got more, and when we were starting the new generator we picked up, the batteries were empty, so we put distilled water in there to try to see if we can get it back to life. That's what the distilled water's for.
Okay, but at 5.25 a gallon?
That's the Family Dollar. I don't know where else to find distilled water in Ennis.
Well,
That's
if it
the only
flux,
place.
so you got more
I
than
thi-
1 gallon then.
Yeah.
$5.
Huh?
Yeah, I went back twice because the two that I got weren't enough. They're bigger batteries.
Yeah. So I think there's more. Yeah. At the $1.75. What is that?
I
You got
went one time
3
and
gallons.
I
Yeah.
went again like 10 minutes later and got 3 more because they were just,
Okay.
I didn't expect them to be that empty. So, but they
Okay.
were.
Go ahead. Okay, and then this one on the, doesn't the town trucks and vehicles get gassed up right next door?
Nope.
No. Guess not.
We use Rocky Mountain.
So they fuel up and they're separate?
Yes, at Rocky Mountain.
Or town pump if we need dyed fuel. We fuel up where we have to.
Okay, that's only fuel
There's
charge.
a couple out of
Gas
town
tax.
also.
I can attest to only having the one. That's because someone used the actual town card and not their fuel cards. The WEX bill is actually all the fuel. So if you look on the WEX claims,
Okay.
that's all fuel. So
That was
on this,
me.
I would believe it was Ed or new guy.
No, that was me. I was
Oh,
somewhere
there you go.
else and didn't
Or that.
take the gas card with me because at that time there was just the one.
There you go.
Now,
That,
now we have more.
Okay, thank you.
Is this how?
Any other?
If he has more questions, I'm ready to answer them.
Oh, he sat down. He's good. I think he satisfied his curiosity.
All right.
Yeah, I think he said thank you. Maybe. Well, I think he was having. Okay, let's see. Any more discussion or questions on claims? Okay, can I get a motion?
I move to approve claims.
Any further discussion? Okay.
So if you want to motion to approve all that resolution.
And vote on the amendment?
Second.
Okay, yep. Oh, and now we're gonna, so it'd be. Any other further discussion? All right, call the vote. On, but no, you voted on the amendment. And then you gotta, okay, great. One other thing regarding claims, that I've heard from a couple department heads that if we process claims twice a month, it would be very beneficial for them. And so it's one of the things I'd like to consider for us. So yeah. And as we get further down the agenda, it's easier to explain, but, and I would, make the very attempt that we would try to keep that second meeting short. So in that way, but mostly just to adjust the claims. Is that something that commission would like to consider? Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, in regards to, oh, we got to go to public comment on non-agenda items.
Myron Walmo, Ennis. I couldn't pass up starting the new year with new entity to lead the community. I personally look forward to the improvement in the community's handling of the town's business, accountability, and transparency. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Your comments, Myron. Anyone else for public comment on non-agenda items?
And I just wanted to welcome our new mayor, and I
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items online? Going once, going twice. Get into the room. Anybody? We'll move on from that. Okay. In regards to schedule matters, I would like to remove item letter D from the agenda. Late this afternoon, I got a phone call from Justin at the Montana Board of Investments. It turns out we do not need a whole new resolution. We just need to update some paperwork. So for our STIP account, which is our investment account with the state. So, so that way, both Brenna and I are okay. So that does not need a whole new resolution. So I'd like to move that. Next order of business, since we have a new incoming commission. So for those of you who don't know, we had 4 open seats coming into the new year. Mr. Way, Miss Hankins, Miss Abernathy all signed up to participate again in the terms available. Commissioner Hardy was our lone soldier, holding that, and we do have a vacant seat available that has been advertised. It advertises for 30 days, and then we need to appoint a new commissioner. So with that being said, I would like this newly formed commission to select a chairperson who would chair the meetings in my absence. There is a time, and that is main duty.
Wow, that was quick.
You did do no hesitation.
Motion. Call the vote.
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much. Welcome, Chairman Way. Our next item up on the agenda is a resident, Craig Abernathy, on the agenda regarding a water and sewer bill adjustment request. What I would like to do first is have Brenna, who has been our clerk for 2 years, kind of walk through how our water and sewer bills are billed. So we have an understanding on that before we get started. So we're all on the same page. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want like specifically the average versus actuals or
Yeah, just
overall?
average versus actuals,
Okay.
because that is, I think, a tenement to the business.
Sounds good. So, in the month of starting in October, the town of Ennis takes the average of 4 winter months, which is November, December, January, and February. Take those averages as people are watering their lawns, and we know obviously not all of that is going into the sewer system. Let's see, and then with that, it significantly lowers that sewer cost, obviously. When it's actuals during May, so back in May, we um, switch it to average, and then back in August, excuse me, got those backwards. Okay, so May, average, and then back in October, we're going to actuals. So those actuals are literally what you're using for water is what's billed for sewer. And this year, I will say that there was it was a lot warmer. There's a lot of customers that noticed their sewer charges being a lot higher. And this, again, kind of contributes to this as well in this situation specifically. With that as well, I have no way of specifically stating where the money goes for billing. When I open up cash receipting, it's you put in the amount and it kind of just takes what it needs. If it's the full total amount, obviously it'll disperse how it needs to. But if you're only paying partial, it will take the late fees first, obviously, and then the actual what's due, and then the late fees, I should say. After that, let's see. What else that's pertaining with this one specifically? Anything else that you think I missed that we've talked about a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's just for clarity for our residents and commissioners is we only have water meters.
That
We
is
do
what-
not have sewer meters. So there's only one way to take a reading. So, and we're one of the communities that does make a effort to know that not all water is going into the sewer in the summertime. So, to accommodate our residents with irrigation, the best way that or how it's been done, discuss whether it's the best way when we come to the water rate discussion, is that um, in the summer months, we take an average of what the winter months usage is and then apply it. So, and that is the averages are only used in what she said, June through September. So June, July, September, August, and September. That's an average of actually your winter usage. And then come October through May, that is when you're using your actual usage. So that is what it is. With that understanding, Mr. Abernathy, the floor is yours.
I think most of you know who I am, but just for the record, I'm Craig Abernathy. I've been a resident of Ennis for over 4 years. And so I'm here really, the agenda item is titled Water and Sewer, but really the only thing that I'm questioning my sewer cost. But I have a handout.
Okay.
The bar chart, it represents just a snapshot of my water usage for the month of October and part of the month of October. And you can see, well, let me back up just a second. So since I've lived here, I've been buying the property. I rely on my property manager to turn my water and program my sprinklers on in the spring and turn them off for fall. And so I reached out to my property manager and asked him to turn water on sprinklers. on that chart that you see the those tall bars are when short regular water. So at the beginning of December, the next page there, the next page is a copy of my water and sewer bill that I received at the beginning of December, which shows current water usage and sewer for basically the month of November, and then a past due water and sewer bill for October. And you can see that the sewer bill for that's showing past due for October past is significantly high. So anyway, the reason I included this chart was just to show you what my payment at the beginning of December included. So when I got this bill, I had reached out to Hannah, spoke with Brittany, sorry, and so she explained to me how the average is used from November applies to your summer months, so that we have a way of really accurately measuring your discharge to the sewer, which is, I get that, it's fine, but that's I think it's probably the best way to go right now. But, yeah. But so for October, since the average is not applied, it's not a lot of water on all that water. Like, so the last page is a spreadsheet I put together to kind of illustrate what, where I'm going with all of this. And so I've kind of subdued the prior month going back to the beginning of the year. Way over on the right, you can see basically the change in water usage, percent change from the month prior, where it bumps up certainly when you get to the summer months. And then it comes down. So you'll see that for the month of October, my water usage from the month went down 22%. Higher. So now I'm looking down at 10:31 to 11:30. I'm doing a read across. My water usage was 55.10, but my sewer cost was 83.34. It went up $43 from prior $40.34, representing either a 94% increase in sewer costs and 20%. So how could that be? So then when I called down and explained to me, it's what your Black Mountain software automatically does. Take the average cost, sewer cost, stop using it in October, it automatically just starts applying the rates water usage. And then applies to you. So after Brandon explained that to me, she sent me the bar chart that I'm looking at. I took my bill for that month, and I also questioned the past due amount that was showing for November, because I never got the bill in November. Again, did it right, honestly. So Brent and I had a long phone call, and at the end of the phone call, she sent me all this information and said that there's nothing she could do. That time, so I reached out to the mayor. This is still really acceptable. And she said, well, it's out of my, there's nothing I can do. put me on the agenda. Don't put me on the agenda. First part of that month. Monday rolls around. No, really what you need to do is you need to talk to me. Okay, no problem. I'll talk to you. Before I did that, though, I checked my bank statement in the town cash check for the payment for the 163.75, which represents all the water I'm past due, all the water that was current due, the sewer that was current due, the DEQ fee, and what I said should be only the average cost of sewer usage applied in October, although instead of. So if you do that, then come up with 163.75, which is $53.11. That's the thing. So that I thought it was going to be taken care of. My check for how I had the bill marked up. Well, apparently it wasn't. When I got the bill, my water and sewer bill, at the beginning of this, it had what you see on the bottom line, which was current water, but now it says I have a past due $24.50. The water penalty and the sewer penalty, but the DEQ knowledge was still there. And then it has the current sewer, but it also has a past due sewer of $26. So the three bottom lines there are basically the breakdown. It's saying you can see current and past. Well, so when I got my bill, getting this showed up here on the second. So Eric was here, Mayor was here, Mayor Roberts was here, Eric was here. Great. So I explained that I paid for all the, I understand and I paid for all the water that October and November. I paid for the sewer that I paid for the DEQ fee. The penalties have been dropped, both of the penalties. But I still had you still asking for $53.11, which represents this. I don't know how it was broken up, but the difference between the $83.34 and the $43 that I ended up paying is $40.34. Which if you take that and you add that was supposedly dropped, and were dropped as it's represented on my latest bill, come up with $53.11. So what I was expecting to see, well, I was expecting to see just current. But if there were still, the town is still saying I have to pay for sewer usage that we know I didn't use because that overage is landscaping money. Well, then that $53.11 represents the difference between what I paid and what you're asking for and the penalty. So I guess what I'm saying is that well, during the call or the discussion on the second, I was wrong. It's wrong because I'm not contesting the water that I'm having to pay for sewer usage that I did, which the town is saying then once I pay for it, then you're asking me to go, suggesting I go after the property manager. One, that's wrong. You're asking me to pay for something. They can use that next.
But here, but theoretically, when we're using actual versus estimate, it's just the way that it's designed.
Yeah,
Right, Garnet,
look
but
at,
it's the base rate plus the,
Yeah, base rate for sewer is $32.98 per 1,000 gallons is $2.72. So again, when he got this bill that you guys are seeing right now, he had a very high reading because he still had the irrigation on. We can see that. We understood that it was a hotter August or October, excuse me. But unfortunately, because it was in the town code, just how I was doing, just doing my job, it took the actual of everything that he used for water and calculated that for sewer. That's why it came out to the
And that's across the board. All the
yes. And there was quite a bit of people. Why is it so high? And I explained it to him. And oh, okay.
Is it typical to have the sewer higher than the actual water?
Yes, especially if they're using a lot, especially because per 1,000 gallons for sewer is $2.72. Per 1,000 gallons for water is $1.98.
month prior, did I get charged?
we had it, I think that was unseasonably warm October that no one can on
So
that. So
I get that. So when you say unseasonable, I'm not contesting.
yeah,
I already,
but that's
I
the
already
the
paid for
only
it.
mechanism that we have for, and that is how it's set in town code. We use actually averages by August, and that is how it's set up. So, and I think it actually behooves us residents, but as far as a water, conservation point, is that sprinklers should be cut off, turned off before October. And I don't know when my sprinkler guy was blown out, but it might have been later than that, whatever. But I would say that it's laid out. I offered Mr. Abernathy the penalties back. Um, so I think that, in my opinion, that's a more fair offer based on that because we have 750. I think we can look at changing the way we bill when we have a water rate discussion that's going to be happening this first part of the year, because by June 30th, we have to come to the target rate based on our well project. And so, so there's another way to go about billing it. Certainly explore that, see what other Virginia city, they just take your half water usage in the summer months. So for half, so 35 per gallon, they bill for 17. That's just how we do it. So we can, in the future, we can go, but as it currently sits, this is what our
I would surely to hit a target rate or engineering firm has already looked at all of this. We're losing money whenever we're gathering our averages and our system is not working. Surely it's, I guess we have to ask. proper average
Oh,
system,
yeah,
how we
I mean,
generate our bills.
yeah, I would say it would probably a different set of months, because there's quite a few people, I have several people set me for most of them. Go to the mic, please, Susie, thank you. And Susie used to be the utility clerk for several years, so.
So you go in, you start the averages for the new year, you go in, those people,
Yeah.
get them,
Okay.
and it's books many years ago. It's an average, 2000, those three,
Yeah.
you would just apply that to
Okay.
whatever.
Okay. They have something. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. So I guess so is it the 5311, Craig, that you are asking to be adjusted?
I'm asking it to be zeroed out because apparently it represents penalties are embedded into, I guess what you're saying is, and I don't know, frankly, I don't know how you came up with 2415 past due water and 2696 for the past due sewer. When I paid for, and I represented on the information on the red line sheet bill that I turned in, that I was paying for all the water and paying the sewer for months of November.
And-
I was just using the average that you had been charging me a month prior for October.
I think what Brenna said is she doesn't have an option
Yeah.
in Black Mountain software.
You can't pick and choose what's being
it just gets applied to the whole, even though your bill is broken out, you can't just say, I'm paying $80 towards water and I'm paying $20 towards sewer. It takes your $100 and applies it to the whole balance. There's not a way to separate it out. So I guess the question to the commission.
So then one other point is that you can see in the spreadsheet that I used less water in October from the month prior. So if I used more water in September, charging $43 and I used less water in October, why can't you charge me $43 the average price again? Know that the water that I was using, or the portion of the water, a good portion of the water.
Because
With
I
that-
believe that it's the code delineates when we use averages.
Also with that, I will say when we're doing the billing, it's from the 20th of the month before to, so this bill that we're looking at is from September 20th to the October 20th. So it's not all of October, it is a little half and half. So I made little marks of where that roughly would be. So there still is that higher usage. Yes, we do see that drop off of when those sprinklers turned off, but that's how it's billed, is from those readings to readings, usually around the 20th of each month.
So it's the 5311 and you're contesting the 1277 penalties. Correct? We already took the penalties off.
Well, so if you're looking at the last three lines, the middle line where it says past due on the past due amount on that bill is saying I have $24.15 in water dollars for the other, like and $26.96 for past due sewer. That's where the but as you'll see, as you can see there, there's no penalty, water penalty. That's what is in the lower. But that 5011 is made up of both those past due charges plus the difference between what I was billed for sewer at the beginning of November and what the average sewer rate that I was billed for the 3 months prior.
I understand that.
So it appears that the penalties were not credited out.
No, the penalties were embedded in the two apparently they seem to be embedded
So,
in the
yeah,
cost, the
as Brenda
past due
said,
costs.
she applied your payment, allowed the system to do what it wanted to do with the payment, and everything that it didn't apply to just rolled forward. So it's a no rhyme or reason why it looks the way it looks. But the obvious difference is if you shorted your October $138.44 by $40.34, that $40.34 should have been a sewer past due and nothing past due for water, DEQ.
You're right, it should have all
And
been
the
sewer.
1110 and 167 added to that 4034 is the 53. So the penalties are still in there. It's just hidden.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I was here on January 2nd, I was told that the penalties were dropped. They were going to drop the penalties.
If you were going to pay that day. I
Is,
guess it was kind of when you had asked me, what can we do? I offered to, to settle it, to be like, okay, I can understand where you're coming from with the November bill and stuff that we could waive the penalty. So, and then you asked to be on the agenda. So here we are. So I guess it now is to the commission.
I don't,
looks way
can
off
I,
with the change from using the estimates to using actual water use and billing it. And also because you still had your sprinklers running for a portion of that billing period. Which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but I don't have a problem paying for the
Yeah.
water that was used.
Yeah. So are you just asking for now for the penalties to be actually waived?
1277.
I'm asking for both the penalties to be waived and the difference between the 8334 that I was billed for sewer at the beginning, for November, and what the prior month's averages were. So basically, what I'm saying, if you just carried forward the average of $43 into that month, then
Then we would have to do it for everybody, rebill everybody though.
Yeah.
Because it's town code, we can't actually change it.
That
When it
was my-
switches over to actual numbers, it's actual numbers.
That's my question. It's promulgated in our code
Yeah,
for
it's
this
promulgated in our code.
for this to happen.
On a specific billing cycle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those 1277 fees, yeah, I don't see we can do anything. And water restrictions were until November 11th. There's going to be reduced water restrictions this year. So yeah, we should have all been cutting down a little bit.
So in every year prior, except for this past year, the guy who comes out and does the sprinklers, the programs the sprinklers and turns the waters on and stuff, will leave the box unlocked. So during the month of June, when we got a lot of rain, whatever, I could go out there and turn the program off, basically, for that very reason, to save water. That didn't happen this year. They locked the box, so I couldn't go in there and do that. Or I certainly would have. Or I would have gone in there at the beginning of October and shut it off myself. By the time I got the property manager to get the sprinkler guy out there, it wasn't until about the middle of October when he shut the stuff off.
Well, I think you have a legitimate complaint with the
Yeah.
property manager at that point.
Isn't that their job to plan all that out and arrange it to have it done in a timely manner? I would think so.
Well, I mean, why would they lock you out from saving water? You're paying the water bill.
Right.
You should have access to that box and they denied you access. Because you denied me access to these water bill doubles.
Again, what I'm saying is that I get that. I'm not, so I don't have a problem paying for the water that I use, even no property manager didn't have it turned off. It ran into the middle. Okay, so I'll pay for the water. I don't have a problem. I have a problem with paying for sewer as though all of that water went to the
And we've heard that. I think we've heard that. So I'm going to put the question to the commission. You want to make a motion based on the evidence that you heard. I wouldn't recommend it because then you'd have to do it for 750 other users.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I guess ultimately you're asking if you make a motion. Make a motion.
So it's at $53.11 minus $40.30. $40.34. Yes. 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 Correct.
say that again.
So you're
So if I paid 40, 30.
That will bring you current.
So does everybody know that? That's all.
Brenna has it on the website. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, if people question how it's done, then she will ask their question, answer their question, and she's put together this. So.
And frankly, I didn't.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor in essence and time. We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
The motion to be clear is to remove the 1277 fees and keep the bill the same.
Yeah, so the current due would be $40.34. Commissioner Wayne. Thank you. All right. Now, County Planner Cody Markser, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
A lot of words for you, so I don't want to say them. Great, thank you. No.
You know that's not how I roll. All right, this is more of just informational sheet for you to, I know, if you're like me, you look for things to read at all hours of the night on land use, so. No, just me. Okay, cool. So I'm Cody Markser. I'm the Madison County Planning Director. We currently have a interlocal agreement between the county and the town of Ennis. It was drafted in 2009, specific to review of subdivision. Then in 2014, a contract amendment was made where the county planning board secretary would serve as the town's planning board secretary. I'm not sure if anyone knows that exists. So my effort today is to get you thinking of how to update these to what you actually need and reflect what's actually going on in town. Since now you have your own planning board, I'm assuming you have a secretary on that board. I don't know. The possibilities are endless. The document I gave you is truly just like the basic land use for people that don't care about land use or want to know the ins and outs on what's required within municipalities and different local governments, how it's applied, who has the decision-making authority. And then on the very last end of the document, toward the end, is the discussion on interlocal agreements. So I think a lot of times there's a lot of confusion around them, and sometimes the constituent diagnosis is that the county comes in and starts making the decisions for the towns when there is that agreement in place, and it's actually the opposite. So if indeed there's an interlocal agreement for land use or planning services, it's really more of an effort where, hey, we don't have the full-time staff to do this specific function, or we have staff that needs some backup and support when things get crazy. The county planner, myself, would come in and adhere to your adopted regulations and rules and still bring everything through the commission or planning board or however it's designated. So yeah. Questions, thoughts? I just wanted to get the ball rolling on
Yes,
this
I think this is
conversation.
an amazing opportunity with the work done with the growth policy, the master plan that was done. We really need to, I think it was back in 2019 that our subdivision regulations were so out of whack that we're like, we'll just adopt the counties as a stopgap measure. That's now 6 years later. So, and I think there's been a lot of talk about, you know, working on our zoning as well. And Cody has expressed that she and her staff have the capacity to possibly helping us out. They helped out the town of Sheridan. In your packet was the interlocal agreement that they drafted with Sheridan. And so I just wanted to get you some information and hopefully we can get some good things going and take what we have in our growth policy and then get it down to black and white. Because the growth policy is kind of like this, 30,000 feet, and we want to distill that down to what that means on the ground. So, and I think it's a wonderful offer. So if we can come to terms with an interlocal agreement, we will take all the help we can get. So we appreciate that.
Our planning boards drop down below that.
Yeah, yeah. So historically, through the years, how it's kind of worked between the county and the town is planning boards. All boards are hard to fill, right? And planning boards are the worst, to be honest. So we can draft the interlocal. That's kind of how we worded Sheridan's update. Is they've got their own planning board as well, but if they ever get to the point where they don't have enough numbers, they can default something to the county in an interim. But we can go back and forth that way. So I don't think I can speak on the land use, and the county's not interested in doing any of the town's work unless the town needs some support. So just clear.
And ultimately, we do want our own representation.
Yeah.
We don't want, I mean, because the planning board, I think you have 11 members.
We have 11, yeah, and we do, because we have interlocal agreements and because our county, geographically and population-wise is pretty unique. So we're technically a county planning board, which is only required to have 5 members, with only one designated seat as a conservation district representative. But we've written our bylaws to have 11 members with a representative from each actual town pushed forward by the town. And that's important to us so that everybody has a seat at the table. So you currently have a representative on our board right now serving in that capacity. So,
Combining those
yeah. Yeah,
I don't
there's
think you'd want to
specifics.
do that because then they would outnumber the residents.
You could, yeah. So there's a specific statute on it that's called a consolidated land use board. That statute was actually just updated in 2025 session. So there's really specific requirements on what the representation is. I could dig into it a little bit for you. There's some leeway in it, but it's pretty specific because it's kind of a newer thing that
Yeah.
got formalized. So,
Maybe we have some interested people be on the planning board. We can get 7 members. So. Well, thank you for your offer. There is a planning board meeting this coming Tuesday, and I will definitely bring this to them
That'd be
as
great.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Perfect. Yeah.
get
And in
that.
the meantime, if there's questions, just reach out.
Thank you so much for making time for us this evening.
course.
We
Thank you, guys.
appreciate it. Drive safely. Okay. Our next is a resolution to adopt the growth policy. I do see that Lyndon is on. Lyndon Seed is the head of the board. He and his colleagues did a lot of work on the growth policy. You have a copy. It was also linked with the agenda as well. I believe there's also been public hearings regarding the adoption of the last public hearing at the December meeting. There wasn't a lot of questions from the community or anything like that. So we felt comfortable moving it to a resolution because there was nothing that the public brought up that they wanted to see differently. What is your take, Lyndon?
Yeah, I think that's accurate, Lisa. I talked to Kevin Anglin today, who was the consultant from Great West, who helped us get over the goal line and put together the actual document. And he just confirmed to me that, you know, we had kind of followed the process that we needed to in terms of the public hearing that we held in December and the notice of 30 days and then the final resolution today. I guess the resolution at the last meeting was an intent resolution. And then the only difference today would be removing the word intent, and it's, you know, the actual adoption. But, you know, we've kind of gone through the process, I think, the right way. I think one of the key things for me in terms of just the big picture with this whole effort was the responses we got when we did our community outreach. You know, we got over 300 people to respond. And given the size of our community, and what I learned about the typical response rates for this type of project, that was a pretty good result. So I feel like we captured, we did a good job capturing the sentiments and the views of the community, which is really, I think one of the biggest parts of what you want to accomplish with this growth policy.
Wonderful. So with that, do we have any public comment on the growth policy? Okay.
There we go. Thank you. Sorry I didn't notice this sooner. Just a request if you, I'm not even sure this applies at your, if your resolution, but on page 13 under town government, the library is not listed as a department. So if we could add that, that would be fantastic. Public Works, Ennis Police Department, City Court, and Zoning and Planning are listed. If we could add the library, that would be a good deal. Thank you.
So with that, yeah, I believe that we can amend it. So I can take your motion. So we adopt the resolution with the amendment that the library added. Because it's a resolution. So, okay, I'll get to read in real quick. A resolution of the town commission, the town of Ennis adopting the Ennis growth policy Whereas the town of Ennis has undertaken a comprehensive planning process to guide future growth and development within the town and its planning jurisdiction. Whereas pursuant to Title 76, Chapter 1, Part 6, the local government may adopt growth policy to serve as a long-range planning document addressing land use, housing, public facilities, natural resources, economic development. Whereas the growth policy has been prepared through a public process that included community engagement, public meetings, and the opportunities for public comment consistent with statutory requirements, and where the growth policy is intended to reflect the values, goals, and priorities of the Ennis community and to provide guidance for future land use decisions, infrastructure planning, capital improvements, and coordination with other governmental entities. And where the growth policy is an advisory document does not by itself regulate land or amend zoning or subdivision regulation. It serves as a framework to inform future policy decisions and regulatory actions. And whereas the town commission has reviewed the final draft of this policy, that it's best interest of the town to adopt the document as the official growth policy of the town of Ennis. Now, therefore, involve the town commission of the town of Ennis. Montana, that number one, the growth policy 2025 is hereby adopted pursuant to Title 76, Chapter 1, Part 6, the official growth policy of Ennis. And 2, the growth policy shall serve as a guide for future planning efforts and land use decisions and capital improvement planning in coordination with the county, state, and regional agencies. Number 3, town staff and appointed board are directed to consider the growth policy recommendations and decisions consistent with applicable laws, and 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon announcement. Looking for a motion.
With the addition of the library as a town department, not branch, department.
Any discussion? Motion passes. We have now a shiny new growth policy. Thanks, Lyndon, for all your work on that. We really appreciate your service to the town of Ennis.
That was a pretty heavy lift.
Well, it's really, an honor to be part of that process. It's an important guiding document for the town, and I was happy to be part of it.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Our next order of business is Resolution 620-26. This resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Ennis authorizing participation in the Montana League of Cities and Towns Financial and Accounting Services Program. So this program is really going to come in clutch. They actually did our payroll for this week. So they offer services from utility billing, which I don't think we're going to have them do, but it's payroll, budgeting, cash reconciliation, accounting, and there was a whole handout on it. They do charge $65 an hour, but they are extremely proficient in that and handling all those financial documents. And based upon the departure of the longtime clerk, I think it would behoove us to maybe look at restructuring how the front office is handled. Cody stays up reading about land use. You can always take a good look at the audit for the past several years, and we had some deficiencies or some budget findings. So given this opportunity, I think it would make sense for us to utilize the Montana League of Cities and Towns. This is a fairly new program. It's been running for 2 years, but now they already have 30 plus communities participating because it's so advantageous. Talking with Jody Rogers, she said the first couple of months might be a little On the higher end, she estimated anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a month, based on that. But then it should lessen over time as they get more familiar with our books. So based on that, with that big chunk, we can, I really think we can run the front office with one full-time employee with, some part-time help for when, as a substitute or some seasonal help or that kind of thing. So I think it would actually be a significant savings, um, to us. So, if you took the, um, and they're going to be rough numbers because I'm not exact like you are, but say it was $3,000 for the remainder of the fiscal year, that's $18,000. The wage that the clerk was receiving was 32 and something, and then plus uh, health insurance. Yeah. So I think we're looking at a significant savings. Plus, it will be proficient, and there's not going to be that lag in our, um, you know, financial preparedness. Let me tell you, they were amazing. Today, and just hopping in there, staff is going to receive paper checks because I didn't have the online banking credentials set up with the bank yet to do the direct deposits, but they really came in clutch. So I think they're going to be able to assist us in maybe streamlining that process. So.
Yeah, so do training as well. That's what prompted me to ask Brenna if she had education. So
It looks like it was written in 1990. Yeah. So, and this would free up, to do clerk stuff and records retention, all of that stuff that maybe sometimes gets pushed to the side a little bit. So just for the audience, we did a system. You write a check in QuickBooks and you mess that check up, goes to your account, you go in and delete that check. Do that in the other places. You require journal entry, go back, do what you did. Very Oh, yeah, maybe Mitch. Oh, you want to share into a duet?
So the question on the table is the contract with Montana League of City and Towns for financial services. That would be about 36,000 a year on the high end, correct?
Yes, test drive it, and it's billed per hour, so it's $65 an hour.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
go on at the high end, 3K
Yeah.
a month, that's 36,000 a year. That's savings. That's a considerable savings.
Yeah, and all of those things are a la carte. So if we want help with budgeting, like they did last year, actually, the Montana League assisted them with budgeting. They'll do that. They will also do audit prep, which is they said would probably be about 60 hours for that. So we can literally pick and choose what things we want them to do. It was my feeling Brenna is proficient in utility billing, so we'll leave that as it is, and then let them handle the cash reconciliation, the claims. They'll prepare those twice a month. That part, and they were basing that off of the town of Charlotte. Until they really get in there, we don't. And this would also help with our compliance with the Department of Administration.
60 hours audit prep. Plus the audit. I didn't realize.
Yeah, and I think she wanted to shoot high, and have it come in less. So, um,
Did they help with the audit last year?
I mean, I'm all for it. We know what we're getting into, what the costs are.
let me tell you, they are extremely.
Yeah, 60%.
That sounds like something you're walking on.
Yeah. I think that was like an a la carte item. Like if we didn't have them do anything else, how much, they were guessing. Yeah.
I move to approve resolution 620 dash.
Discussion? Any public comment? You want me to read it? Good. No. Okay. Okay. My mouth's a little dry. All right. All right. Call to vote. Where are we? Commissioner Abernathy. Motion approved. I will get that contract signed tomorrow and proceed. All right. So right now, our next item is well house project update. So in your packet, for those who not know, town of Ennis has been, thank you, Duncan, has worked for the past several years to make some updates to our system. It will consist of a new well house out at the rodeo ground, well, possibly a second well, a storage tank, whatever. So that first phase was bidded out in September, October timeframe. It was awarded in November to 4050 Development. They 4050 notified Colette, who is from Great West, that they were unable to secure their performance bond, which is a part of the contract. And so they are basically unable to perform the contract. So we sent them a notice of rescission to rescind the bid award and then to bid out the project. It is imperative that we do this on a quick timeline. Bids are open. Or the bidding process has started open to contractors. They can see all of that. The invitation to bid went out. There is a meeting on the 13th, a pre-bid, well, learn about the project bid. They can submit their bids. We will open bids on January 20th, and then we will award on January 27th, which that will be a meeting. And the reason for this expedited timeline is because we have $439,000 of ARPA funds, which is the American Rescue Plan Act, that need to be used by June 30th. And the project has to. So we're kind of moving at a fast pace on this second bid because we don't want to lose $400,000. So that is where we are at with that update. So please put January 27th on your calendar. No. Wi-Fi. Who else are we missing? He's gone too. You'll be here.
I should.
Okay, we're going to get one of you to call in. Who's it going to be? What day do you leave? Time of it. Where are you going to be? How big of a time difference?
I don't know.
Oh, so you're just, that's not even, John goes there all the time. Or is that Belize? Yeah. He called in from Belize one time. Okay. Okay.
You're the new.
Let's see.
Is there anything in our code for proxy voting?
I'll have to look. I will.
Is that essentially we're able to look at the contract before the meeting?
So yes, we will open. So we will open bids on the 20th. So we could do maybe a meeting before then, you know, like we, or after the 20th, but before the 27th. So that was the timeline that Colette. So if we need to move that, I'll talk to Colette and we'll make it before the 24th. You're just gone.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, hey, Colette. Oh, I'm sorry, Colette. Hey, sorry.
I am here on the line, so I've been trying to listen. I can't hear everything very well, but if you need to move that up forward, I just need like a day or two at least to check references, do our due diligence, make sure it's a responsive bid, and to provide a recommendation to award. So I need, you know, a day to, you know, so if it needs to be like that Friday or that Monday or maybe Thursday's pushing it, but I could probably work really hard and make it work if you need.
Okay. So Friday the 23rd?
Yeah, I could make.
You could make that work, Colette. Did I miss anything in the update?
No, your update was perfect. I was trying to listen carefully. Your update was right spot on.
I have a couple quick questions on that update.
Put your microphone close to your mouth.
Oh, sorry.
And then ask Colette because she's the.
So not procure a bond. We've had them do a lot of emergency work when we've had emergencies here in town. Are they bonded for the emergency work that they do for town as well? And if they cannot procure a bond for this project, should we have them do our emergency work in town?
I don't know that you've probably I don't know that you've probably required a bond for emergency work because you probably didn't even go through like a bidding process where you had to you do any of that. So you probably didn't require a bond. Which I don't know that, you know, there's time. If it's an emergency project, there's probably not time to, because those things take some time.
All right, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, I would say though that, I mean, you would want to, any contractor you work with, you would at least want to make sure they're insured.
And yeah, and do we have like a list of contractors, preferred contractors for that emergency work that we have already ahead of time know that they're bonded, they're insured, they're, you know, checked all these boxes. So when we do have a pipe break that we know we have a contractor that will get the work done. And then my second question is we have spent some money to bid this out and award this bid. Is there any way to recoup that money?
So we have, yeah. So I can't answer the question on the list of contractors that are, because quite honestly, before we bid this project, this contractor was working on a project in Twin Bridges and they had performance and payment bonds and they were insured and everything was fine. So it was something happened, you know, between then and now. So that can change quickly with a contractor if they have a job go bad or something like that. So, I mean, I can certainly provide a list of reputable contractors that we are familiar with, but not all of them are necessarily right there close to Ennis. But also, in regards to your second question, as far as recouping the costs, so we sent a letter. We had your attorney. I drafted a letter, had the attorney review it, and the town sent the letter to both the 4050 as well as their bonding agency, and we did tell them we were going to keep their bid bond. So when they bid the project, they did have to provide a bid bond in the amount of 10% of their bid. So I don't remember the exact numbers or what that is. So that will be enough to cover, the additional expense of having to rebid the project and maybe, some other expenses. So I haven't gotten a response from them. And I, when I came to Ennis and I visited with Lisa, Nikki, and Eric, and discussed needing to maybe get in touch with Ed to see what the next steps are as far as making sure we get that, the town gets that bid bond. But yes, that is in place to protect the town for something such as this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought Eric would jump on, but he does have a list of contractors. All the town requires is the liability insurance, and he gets it. They just automatically bring it in at the, I don't know what time of the year, but most of the contractors around here, he has that on file.
Okay.
Might not hurt to get Colette's list also, though, to have more people try to bid.
So that is where we were at. So let's put January 23rd on our collective calendars for you, Commissioner. If we could do evening, we could do during the day. Do you have a preference? Okay. Yeah. No preference?
Yeah, that's fine. Either way.
Let's keep it in the evening if you're okay with that, or we could do like 5 o'clock. Is that a count? 5 o'clock on the 23rd? Okay. Yep. Okay. Adios. So.
Are you ready to go to the jungle?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you probably have cell phone. Satellite. We'll send you with the satellite phone. Okay.
Sure I do.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you for that. So, our next item is just an item for discussion. I put some information in your packet as the former mayor let us know. MMIA is no longer going to be providing workers' comp insurance. So at the end of this fiscal year, we have to choose a new provider. So part of that discussion, and I think it's in that letter, is that we can get a determination on workers' comp. Is it NIC or something like that? It's the National Insurance something, and they'll give you a rating essentially, and then you go shop for your workers' comp insurance, or you can just go and shop for workers' comp insurance. So it's, do we want to go proceed to get the rating? I think Mayor Nikki said we've had 2 workers' comps cases, I guess, in 4 years. So I'm not insurance savvy, so I don't know if that's, typical, not typical, whatever. So, but it's,
I think it's because we have been covered, we should already have a rating.
Okay.
The MIA has.
Oh, okay.
And they can tell us what our rating is.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they can use that to shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. It kind of does sound like state fund is probably going to be, I mean, if they're.
I have shopped it for 6 years in a row, and state fund wins every time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I've heard that from several employers in town. Happy to shop it, happy to do it. We just have to let them, we have to let MMIA know at, a certain day. So we'll just stay on top of it. I will, if you want me to shop it, I'd be happy to do so.
Anyone know any insurance agents that can do it?
They did provide like a really big list. A Thurston Insurance that's here in town was listed there. You direct me on what you would like me to do.
Yeah, I'd say check with Thurston.
See if they can, I think, yeah. Okay. So we'll see what they have to say.
I think you'll just have to give MMIA authorization to talk to them.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that. The next one is a resolution appointing Brenna Bench as interim town clerk and deputy clerk and authorizing temporary wage adjustment. I said it earlier and I will say it again. Brenna has been amazing through this process. She is quick to learn and really just ready to jump in. So we had a little sit down, I think on Friday, my very first day here, and we had a lot of the same things that we wanted to accomplish, which included more transparency, more community engagement, and she is willing to take on those duties. So until we can go through the official hiring process, I wanted to give her a little bump in pay to make up for those efforts. So that's what this resolution does. So it just brings her wage up by $2 per hour during this interim period. So, and when you're talking about the educational things, there is a clerk school that the MSU Local Government Center puts on, and it's in May. So that would be the comprehensive kind of the schooling would be in May. So I think that's kind of maybe when we would move to the official position after that, or we can talk about that timeline. So
Do we need to address a pay structure for this? I don't believe we have one in place. I think you guys put one together for Public Works.
Well, since the department has changed, and we're anticipating cutting staffing, yeah, it would be a good idea to meet and talk
Yeah.
about a wage plan for this department as well.
and maybe a new job description and
Job
all
description
description,
and
all
all
of
that
that kind of stuff. I just wanted to,
Yeah.
reward her efforts in the meantime until we do
Should
that.
we- Should we wait on that discussion till we get a couple months in with MIA doing our books to make sure that that's the right fit?
Yeah, but changing all the job description.
Before we make decisions and not hire somebody, is that?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm
Is
not
that
saying we-
logical?
I'm
If it's
saying
not-
We need to do it now, but it is warranted because things have changed, so. But as far as awarding a raise to and a change in title, I'm all for that.
Is that a motion?
I'll move,
No, just statement.
I'll move to approve resolution 622-2026 to hire Brenna Bench, as interim clerk, deputy clerk, and adjust the wage to 2054.
For the record, I'll second that.
And any discussion, public comment?
I'll just say thank you guys. I do enjoy working here and I look forward to more. So thanks.
Okay, call to the vote. Corey.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, we are now down to commission comments. Mr. Way, would you like to take the lead on that?
Commission comments. So I can comment on anything.
You sure can.
No, the only thing I have, it's a new year. We have a new commission here and, I'm looking forward to working with all you guys and I think the future's bright. I think we're going to do some great things in Ennis. We've got, the water kind of, I don't want to say corralled, but a good plan in place for our water system. Our sewer system's probably next and, to start thinking about for long-term wise. And I'm just really excited to work with all you guys. And I think the future's bright and let's bet on ourselves here in Ennis. I think we're going to win this one.
He stole my line. Yep, go ahead.
So same, and as a commission that's already sat on a previous commission, I would like to thank you, Lisa, for the communication that you've already reached out and provided in 4 days since you've been appointed. Thank you, and we're gonna get some good stuff done.
I second that. The communication is already 110% better than prior. I feel the same. Looking forward to working with you guys and And our next person that we appoint, I think we've got a good team, and with the town folks' help, we'll get where we need to go. I do need to mention, I did sit down on a workers' comp hearing with the MMIA, which they basically kind of pushed state fund, without really doing it. But they, just so you all know, they are covering everybody. We have until June 1st, basically, to get something in place. So it's not a rush. We do have a little time, but we do need to get started on it. Also, any claims that are in place at the time that they phase out, they will handle. It will not have to transfer. So they are going to take any claims that are currently in up until we terminate with them. Those claims are theirs and they will handle them at no further cost to us. So, which is a good thing. So we don't have to worry about a lapse anywhere. So, but that's it. And again, I like to work with you guys.
Yeah, I guess I'm definitely excited for the future as well. Yeah, I had mentioned to both Brenna and Lisa before about the town's agenda and creating not necessarily a growing document, but if we could get like a handful of items that will be on next month's agenda, like as soon as we know that you're going to put them on the agenda, so we can start doing our research then. So
it's very helpful to get the agenda days before instead of the day before.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know, I did start a document, a shared folder. Maybe you didn't check your email. So with our next meeting, and then because of Montana's open meeting law, we can't all collaborate on that thing, but you're set up as a viewer. So you can see, and I'm sure it'll bounce back and forth, like, oh, that's on the agenda, that's off the agenda. But if you want to watch that, then you can kind of have an idea of what, until we get all the documents prepared and ready and out. So, so I would like to say the Friday before. It will probably be Monday. Monday is when I will work on the agenda if our meeting is on Thursday. So just so everyone knows, Montana law requires us to do 48 hours notice of an agenda. So if our meeting is Thursday at 6:15, technically I have until Tuesday at 6:15 to put that together. I really think it's important for the public to have all the documents that we're considering here. So, and that takes a lot of time. So, ultimately, when people have made the request, like the school asked to be on the meeting, I let them know whatever you're going to be presenting, I need a copy of. So then that way, because we're all volunteers and we all have jobs, and you can't look at everything, it's a lot to digest, so, and to understand. So and then I've also asked the staff to have their not formally, because I haven't had the time to meet with everybody individually just yet, but the expectation is that they will have their staff report in by that Monday prior. So then that way it gives you 3 days to really to look at it. So sorry, kind of took over your comments there. Go ahead.
I guess one question, I know we're talking with Great West right now, but yeah, what they are able to do for resort tax to help the town with facilitating, I'm just curious. They said, what's his name? Kevin said he was going to look into that. I haven't heard back. So other than that, just some agenda items. I guess I'd like to see capital improvements on every agenda from here on out until we actually have some, or a list of them. Joining the planning board and zoning board of adjustments. On the agenda until that happens
Are you do you have enough members on your planning board right now?
with Susie.
I'm gonna do some recruitment.
Well, and that way you
I don't-
can even see if the zoning board of adjustments is even.
Still a thing.
Yeah,
on it.
and there's a commission board, there's a commission board too, the zoning commission too, so that maybe we can do that. So if we were to update the zoning map, for instance, they need to act as a commission too. So, yeah, so I will dig into that and find out what the regulations are, if people can wear multiple hats in that scenario. So, okay, because I think that is good. It's interesting that the county is only required to have 5 planning board members, but the town of Ennis has to have 7. So call your legislators. I've mentioned it to them before that they need to change that rule. So, yeah. I guess with that, the next item is mayor comments. I just want to say this is a complete honor and privilege to serve the town of Ennis residents. It has been an extremely busy week. So, from logins to just learning systems, it's going to probably take me a college degree to learn Black Mountain, but they're super helpful. So that has been great. We wish Ginger Gwynn all the best in her endeavors. I would really like to thank the staff for their diligence and patience while I learned the ropes. They have all been very, very responsive to the needs of going. So that has been wonderful. We have several projects to tackle. Oh, excuse me. I wanted to say a big shout out again to Brenna for all that she has done for this week. She has a really great attitude about it. When I would just say, "Oh, we got to do this. We got to do this." She was always like, "Okay, yep, all right, yep, I'll put that down." So we'll get into a routine and systems in place is my goal. But she's been amazing. Let's see. We have several projects to think. We've got to appoint a commissioner. We have the well house construction phase 2. We've got subdivision regulations, zoning regulations, the restructuring of admin. I would really like to get our website updated and more transparency so it's easier for the public to participate and to know what's going on. So then that way, I believe informed citizens are happy citizens and residents. So if people really know what's going on. So I really hope to shed some light onto those things. One of the things I'd like to do is Black Mountain Software has the ability to put the budget online. We've paid for that service, but it hasn't been done since 2021. So that's going to be one of the first things I'd like to do is to get that budget representation back on. Another thing that Montana League of Cities and Towns will do for us as the commission is they will prepare a budget report for every meeting. So you know exactly where we're at. So when we're asking for money, we know that we got it before we spend it. So that's one of the other things. I feel very, very fortunate to be working with the accomplished and knowledgeable people on the commission. So thank you. I feel like we can really work together. And I'd say that to our residents too. I think when we work together, we work better and we can accomplish more. And then, Mr. Way already stole my line, but maybe because I stole his line first was, we do have a really bright future and that we should always bet on ourselves to win. So with that, that is it. So.
Move to adjourn.
Aye. All right. Motion passes. We're all set. Thank you so much for coming this evening. Looking forward to seeing you all every month.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Thanks, Myra.
was gonna come see you today for lunch, but I didn't. Just gonna come see you and chat. Oh, yeah?
It's okay.
Record that belt. Can I have it? I know, I like
That's pretty nice. Let's sit down and chat. Well, I come to your place. Yeah. Okay.
There's like a garbage trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. Anytime.
All right, I don't, yeah. What's your phone number?
Door's always open.
What's your phone number?
Okay, yeah, so you need a letter. Good job, Brenna. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's still.